Okay. Hello and welcome everyone. Just like every day, you are all welcome to the after market analysis session at 5 p.m. in the evening. This is the after market analysis session where after the Indian markets Nifty and Bank Nifty have closed, we look at how the order flow gave confirmations today and basically try to read the footprint a bit better. So if you are new, want to learn order flow, or want to learn how to use the footprint properly, you can join this webinar every evening at 5 p.m. In any case, if you missed the webinar, the recording of this webinar is also uploaded on GoCharting's YouTube channel. You can also go there and access it. The link for this webinar is uploaded in GoCharting's Discord and Telegram community before 5 p.m. in the evening. Also, if you are using GoCharting at a particular time, you can go to the webinar notification in the top right corner, click on the webinar, and access the link from there as well. Okay. So now let's look at Nifty and see what kind of confirmation Nifty gave us yesterday through the volume profile. Okay. Where are the low volume nodes and where are the high volume nodes in the volume profile? If we look at yesterday's volume profile, it was more or less a D-shaped volume profile. That means the market didn't give much movement. It did move at the time of closing, but you can't really catch that in intraday because it's a bit difficult to catch the movements after 3 p.m. Okay. So yesterday's volume profile was this kind of D-shaped. This was its epoch zone, meaning the area where the most buying and selling took place, and there was a single volume node formed. So we had marked this very volume node. See here, this is where the highest volume was. We marked this volume node. The epoch zone also came within this, and even the previous day, Nifty was sideways, so the volume node from the day before also came within these two levels, within these two white lines, and yesterday's epoch zone was also here. So this was the zone that was the most important. Okay, because yesterday's volume node, the previous today's volume nodes, and the epoch zones all came within these two lines. Okay, and if it broke on the downside, then the volume node and epoch zone from the day before were here. If Nifty moves upwards, then on the upside we did not have that much confirmation from the recent market volume profile. So because of this, the better option was to only mark those areas where we get confirmation on the order flow. Okay, this covers the volume profile. Now, on this same volume profile, we take confirmation from the order flow. What kind of confirmation do we take from the order flow? Where are the buyers? Where are the sellers? And what exactly is happening? So, before reading the footprint, you should know what delta is, because every day here we read the footprints with the help of delta. Oh. For example, we picked the first candle of the day. These are the footprints of that first candle. On the right side, all these are buyers. On the left side, there are sellers. We added up the buyers on the right side. Just took a rough number to understand. Suppose there are 1 lakh buyers. Okay. And then we added all the sellers on the left side. Assume the total of all the sellers. It is 1,09,000. Okay, so if we subtract these two, what will we get here? There are 9,000 more sellers, right? So this same thing was shown to us by delta. Whenever there are more sellers, it appears inside the red box and there is a negative sign in front of the value. We call this negative delta. Negative delta simply means it is about the sellers. Inside this candle, there are that many more sellers. Next candle, let's take this candle. The calculation will be the same for both. This time, the value is inside a green box and there is no negative sign in front of the value. So that means, inside this candle, there are 16,000 buyers more as compared to sellers. Okay, now, whenever buyers are more, we call it a positive delta. Positive delta simply means buyers. Okay, now pick any candle. Like let's pick another candle. A red candle has formed, but there was nothing like heavy selling in it. There were quite a lot of active buyers. Pick any candle. Again, this candle is also bullish, okay, as per order flow, because there were no sellers. Whenever you pick any candle, just by looking at its delta, you can understand what is more inside that candle. Are there more buyers or more sellers? Okay, so what will we do here? Now look, there are some candles whose delta is very high. 56,000, 58,000, okay. And there are some candles whose delta is just 5,000, 5,000, 8,000, 7,500. So it means that the candles with a heavy delta have seen a lot of buying and selling, and the candles with a low delta have had very little buying and selling. So what would be the better option? Which candle should we read? The better option would be to pick those candles where there has been more buying and selling, okay, and where there is more buying and selling, the big players are also present there. So what we will do is, we will pick those candles which have a heavy delta and we will proceed by reading the footprint of only those candles. Like the first candle. There is something special about the first candle. What is special is that every day, in the first candle, you will see high volume and a big delta. Like today, it is not there, but it was there the previous day. So, we have to trade the delta of the first candle very carefully, because every day there is more buying and selling at that point. Maybe those who had taken overnight positions are exiting their quantities, closing their positions, okay. But today, we did not see any such big delta. Okay, fine, so no problem. Yesterday's VPOC zone was there. The very first candle entered this VPOC zone. The range was quite small. Okay, so what is the better option? Either the market should break below this VPOC zone, yesterday's VPOC zone, with selling, or it should break above it, because yesterday's VPOC zone is quite small and the market is stuck right there. Okay, if you see now, there was a buying of 30,000 as well, but still it is within the same range. Another buying has been initiated, another buying has been initiated. Delta of 56,000. Now, how will we read the footprint? Like we saw the delta of this candle, there was quite a good amount of buying in this candle. Now, let's go to the footprints of this very candle. What did the delta tell us here? That there are more buyers inside this candle. So, even within the same footprint, we will go to the buyer's side and look for the spot where the most buying activity has taken place. This is the spot where the maximum buying activity has happened. Now, let's see how this order impacts the market. Okay, the delta of the same 56 is on the buyer's side, but still within a range. There was another buying attempt in this candle, but still, it's within the same range. Look at this, buying activity of 42 and 30 is quite significant, but still within the same range. Let's move ahead. There is no buying or selling volume ahead. No solid buying or selling. Okay, let's move ahead. Now, look at this candle. There has been quite a good amount of buying. A delta of 77 has been recorded. The highest volume of the day is inside this candle. The biggest delta is also inside this candle, okay. Let's jump to the buyer's side. We'll jump to the buyer's side and look for the place where the maximum buying has happened. Where has the maximum buying taken place? A delta of 48,000, a delta of 38,000. Okay, these are the two places where maximum buying has taken place. Simple delta was seen. Delta is showing that significant buying has taken place. We went to the buyer's side and picked the spot where the maximum buying had particularly taken place. We will mark the same buying zones. Alright, the next candle, there has also been decent buying in the next candle. Okay, but if you look at the maximum delta, at one point there were buyers inside this candle as well. These are those buyers. So, what happened here? It has broken yesterday's opposition zone. Let me show you earlier as well. Earlier too, there were quite a few strong buying attempts inside these two candles, but they failed to break through. In this candle, there was a significant buying attempt. Even in the next candle, there were quite a few buyers. Came in at full back. Now look at the delta on the full back, where there was 77,000 buying, 20,000 buying, and on the negative side, only 2,000. Okay, so no seller is that active in this candle. The price held that zone without any selling interest, and it held well for 15 to 20 minutes. And again, there was an upside movement. Again, we saw another big delta. On the buying side, where are the most buyers standing out separately? At 105, there is 1 lakh buying here as well. But look at this buying. Here, there was 90,000 buying. If you connect these two orders together, this 1 lakh order here is working perfectly as a support in the market. But what is visible in this order is that in the very next candle, this buying zone was broken, so somewhere it gave an indication that buying absorption has happened. But still, it is not a playing range. Okay, in this situation, it would be beneficial to read the market like this. Buyers entered here and moved the price up to this point. Alright, let's see what happens next. There has been buying again within one more candle of 35, and in the very next candle, look at this, again a delta of 41. In the very next candle, even that buying zone was broken. It means buying is happening, but somewhere or the other, all that buying is getting absorbed. There was one more buying attempt here. See this, a delta of 43, buying of 45, and buying of 31. Even from here, in the very next candle, the buying zone was broken. Now look at this. The first buying absorption happened here. The second buying absorption happened here. The third buying absorption happened here. There was a significant rejection here as well. In the first buying, there wasn't as much rejection. See here, the market just broke this and got stuck right there. Here too, it broke and got stuck at the same place. Look, orders were placed around 35,000, but what happened here? Buying absorption took place. A decent downside, a slight but significant rejection was seen. These were the orders where buying absorption had happened. There was a proper pullback. No solid buyer has entered. See, a delta of 10 to 12,000 in Nifty is a normal thing. You will see that in every candle. Okay, there was a pullback and a pretty decent downside movement was seen. Even in this downside movement, there was a spot where sellers came in 46,000, which was the selling zone here. This was the selling zone. It held in the next candles. Now see, we have got a selling here. This is the zone where selling came in and the zone of bullishness where buyers came in. The market got stuck between these two. Now let's see what would be the better option. Which one should be broken? This one was broken with selling. Look at this, 30 to 30, this was quite a strong selling. It came on the pullback and we also saw rejections. We saw quite a few strong rejections. Okay, and Nifty closed at yesterday's opposite zone. So, what all happened in Nifty today? As soon as the market opened, it entered yesterday's opposite zone. The buyers made attempts to break it. This candle finally broke it. Buyers came in, it held after coming to the pullback. There was an upside movement, a buying activity happened, but it gave an indication of absorption. Another buying activity took place, which again indicated absorption. Yet another buying activity happened, which again gave an indication of absorption, and this particular buying activity that was absorbed here, it held the market quite a bit at the pullback and we saw a rejection. In fact, even in this rejection, some selling was observed. The second round of selling was seen when the support was being broken, and from the very point where the selling happened, a significant rejection was also seen. Okay, so in today's market, in which candles did we see good volume? In the 9:30 candle, in the 10:30 candle, okay, and then in the 11:15 candle, in the 11:50 candle, in the 12:20 candle, and in the 1:25 candle, and in the 1:45 candle as well. These were the candles in which we saw a significant amount of volume, and these very candles played a very important role in support and resistance in the market. Okay, this was today's quick analysis of Nifty. Now, whatever doubts you all have, please unmute yourself and